You have re-recorded and remixed It Wasn't Me. What can you tell us about that?
I was approached by a record company about a year ago to say, hey, whether or not we wanted to do a 20th anniversary album of Hot Shot because it was such an iconic album in hand. It sold so well and still selling well for them. And I just didn't want to just do over an album word for word or track for track. So I asked them, why don't we do five of the most streamed songs from Hot Shot, which is all the singles, including um, um, Love Me, It Wasn't Me, Angel, Keeping It Real, and of course, Hot Shot, the title track. Then I put four new songs on there, one with me and Sting, and two others. I did over Electric Avenue, and I also did over Peter Tosh's Buckingham Palace. I put Sting on Angel, and I added about four more classics like Mr. Boombastic, Old Carolina, Strength of a Woman, and Hey Sexy Lady. And I packaged it and said, hey, why don't we just introduce that and give it more of a 2020 updated vibe to it? Just make the record more sonically modern and but still keeping the authenticity of the original music. And I think we accomplished that very well, especially with songs like It Wasn't Me. We kept the music as authentic as possible. But what we did when my part come in on the song, we changed the drum to more of a dancehall feel. And the reason for doing that in 2000 when we put the record out, the music itself was really a kind of a hip hop beat under it. The only dancehall that brought to it was how the way my cadences was being sung and the patois which I sang on the record. And that song actually was the breakthrough song for dancehall to be in the mainstream, and which is now dancehall is now the sound of popular music today. And I think just to celebrate that and commemorate that and that journey, we put those dancehall drums into Wasn't Me, because if we had done it back then, that's probably what we would have done if radio was playing dancehall at the time.
Yeah, and I actually remember buying the CD single It Wasn't Me when I was a spotty teenager.
Yeah, man.
What do you think it is about it that still resonates with people today?
The fact that especially today, because everything is in social media, this generation is about social media and culture. And I think that, infidelity is definitely a part of today's popular culture. It has always been to talk about it. It really connects with everybody. It doesn't matter your ethnic background, your sexual preference, your religious background. It just really resonates with you because it really boils down to relationship. And that song is about a relationship. But we should add and point out, because a lot of people think that It Wasn't Me was really a cheating song. It's really an anti-cheating song. At the end of the song, it says that at the bridge of the song, it says that I'm going to tell her that I'm sorry for the things that I've done. You may think that you're a player, but you completely lost. There's an apology. It's just that this is such a club banger that nobody ever got to that part of the record. By the time they go to the first and second chorus and singing It Wasn't Me, and the hook, they mixed into another record. But the player in this sense, the guy that got caught in this sense didn't listen to the player. He was like, okay, you're an idiot. I'm going to move on and apologize to my girl because I made a terrible mistake. And I think that's the greatest message you could you could send out there to anyone in a relationship.
Yeah, it has a great music video as well.
The video was so futuristic. I didn't actually appreciate the music video until recently when I was planning to do a new video, and I checked it out and it was like, wow, we were really ahead of our time with this video, because everything about that video is about what we're living today, and this was 20 years ago. So we had great imaginations back then, great imagination back then. But I think, which is it kind of weird, because we tried to do a video this time around, and then the COVID-19 had kind of hit, and we ended up having to just do like a quarantine type of lyric video out there. So we were going to do something of a continuation of the story of the original video, which would have been cool.
So obviously, you mentioned the COVID. You're currently quarantined in New York, in your studio in New York. What's it been like for you?
It's cool, man. I was doing a tour in the UK. I was doing a tour called Blast Off with myself and Nelly and Eve and all of us. And I left the UK a day before they closed the border. And I wanted to go to Jamaica with my family because I live in Kingston with my, wife and daughters and dogs. And because the early cases of COVID were from British tourists, they had suggested that maybe I just kind of waited out for 14 days and then go to Jamaica, which I was fine to do. And in the middle of me waiting it out, they closed the border. So I ended up being stuck in New York. Um, and while I've been here, this is what they call ground zero. So I really took it serious. I really didn't do anywhere. So I was, pretty much confined to the walls of my home here in New York. And I found myself doing everything. My assistant wasn't here. My housekeepers weren't here. So I ended up just I find myself doing laundry. I find myself cooking a lot. I find myself cleaning, getting rid of stuff. Wow, I got rid of a lot of stuff. I guarantee anything that you haven't touched in a year, trash it. Because you don't need.
So you've teamed up with Ravon, who you worked with on Angel. What was it like working with him again? Was he the obvious choice?
Ravon has always been my favorite person to do a record with. We did Big Up together, and then the next record we did was in the summertime, which was Big Up. Big Up was an underground smash. Then we did Summertime, which was also a pop smash with him and me, and then we did Angel, which was a #1 smash also. So he and I always work well together. The thing is that on the original, it wasn't me when we did the song. Ravon had actually sang that song, but we didn't keep him on it because he was already on Angel. So we used Rick Rock instead. And because Rick Rock and I wrote the song and he did the demo and we loved how he sounded. So, it just made sense to have Ravon sing it this time. And then what I did, Ravon, who sang Angel originally, we made Sting sing that part.
Great. And I'm delighted to say that you're also re-recording several past hits, including Boombastic, Angel, and Oh Carolina. What's that like to go back and re-record those songs?
You know what? It's really hard to recreate these classics because they're so timeless and they're so well done, and a lot of them are still very recurrent. So that's where it gets tricky, But in the sense of that, it's not very hard because of the fact that you already have a blueprint. You're just adding to what was already there. So we're not changing what's there. We've just added little things here and there and make the music a little bit more sonically modern and updated to this 2020 digital format. And I think we captured it very well. You listen to Mr. Boombastic, there's not much that changes. It just sounds beefier. Sonically it really resonates well, and it connects. And we put a little bit of today's oomph into it.
Good to hear. So lots of people are going to be excited about the release of Hot Shot 2020. When is it expected to be released?
Planning to put it out around the 12th of June, but we might have to change that date now because, of course, we're at the mercy of COVID. And so we're probably looking at July right now. So people just gotta, look out for details around. I'm sure we'll try and make it as verbally aware as possible.
One of the 4 new tracks on Hot Shot 2020 was recorded with Sting, as you mentioned, who you have worked with in the past. You also partnered with Sting for the Twitch Stream Aid Response Fund. What can you tell us about that?
It was great to do that, man. We also did a telethon in Jamaica for the frontline workers. So we've been doing a lot of these stuff, and wherever we're asked to participate, we get involved. And they had approached me and Sting to do this, and of course, any chance we get to actually do anything together, we'll do it. That's just how we are. Sting and I are great friends. We laugh a lot, we smile a lot, we talk a lot, and he's a big brother I didn't know I needed. And it's always great to do music. We did a song called Primavera on this new album. I don't think there's a project that I'm ever putting out that Sting doesn't want to be a part of. A lot of this album was, even the idea to do over the Eddie Grant Electric Avenue was an idea from him and Trudy when we did it at the Rainforest. And Sting says, hey, you should do it live. you should do it. You should record it," which we did, and throw it on this album. You know, it was his idea to sing over Angel also, because he did it live on tour every time, and it's always great to just be involved in any project that he's doing.